And I think that the problem again with APC, or I don't know, is that they know how to win, but don't know how to utilize.
No, but that is what the guy is bringing.
Yes, that's what he's bringing now, how to manage the victory.
Yes, because he was able, I think he has an experience in trade unionism.
Trade unionism, yeah. He knows how to make discipline and all of this.
Yes, and he wants to bring that to party politics, which is supposed to be the order. Now he has said, the idea that I was advocating for, that anybody, before anybody could be elected into any position in Nigeria, they have to go to a school, that all those parties must have a school where they prepare party politicians and train them. With ideology. Now he has started talking about that.
Because, and I don't know if you have ever heard me say this, that in Nigeria, the difference between APC and PDP, for instance, is that APC has a paper that the ideology is on. So it means that if they are ever serious today, they have a paper and a blueprint to go back to say this is what we stand for. They are welfarist, socialist, and socialist capitalism,
progressive.
Kind of progressive. So they have that ideology on paper, but in reality it's not there. So it means if they wake up today, like you are saying that Oshomole is saying, there's a paper, a blueprint, a roadmap for them to become what they want to become. But of course, there has not been people advocating for such. Like
that's why I'm saying that he's doing it now.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see the next region in Nigeria. And see, apart from the Southwest, so we gave a lot of time to Southwest. Let's see the other region. No, the Viate. Okay, Southeast now.
Wow.
So if we want to talk about rigging, this is where we should be talking about rigging. Why? Because you have two national parties. One of them is like scored, is it 70%?
Yeah.
And the other one just scored 403,000 in the whole of the East. In six, this is in six states.
5 states.
5 states.
Yeah.
Okay. You have 5 states in Southeast.
In Southeast, yes.
Okay, so 5 states only has, so if you divide this by 5, you have less than 100,000 each. If you just divide it like that by 5, 100,000 each for the other party.
Less than. Yeah.
Less than.
Like there was even a state where they had 60,000.
So it's almost like in the. So I personally don't think that even if there was a rigging, I don't think it's a big one, because I know also that in Southeast they have a big anti-Buhari sentiment.
Yeah.
So I would not say that this was rigged, but I think there is a problem here though, because the amount of people who had PVC or PVC in Southeast, I don't think it is 2 million. No, I think it should be about 6 or 8 million.
About 7 to approximately 8 million.
8 million. So how if 8 million people in Southeast took PVC, why is it that only less than 2 million voted?
Just a little above 2 million.
Yes, that shows me that there was a bigger party
in the Southeast.
In the Southeast, and a lot of protests going on there. They are not happy with both PDP or both Atiku and
Buhari himself.
Buhari himself.
Voter party is also something to talk about, because I think the same scenario would have played out if we had looked at the voter structure in Southwest.
Okay.
The number of people who came out to the number of people who collected.
Yes, especially in Lagos.
Yeah, who collected the PVCs. So, but in Southeast, the anti-Buhari sentiment is there, no doubt. But the difference between this one and 2015 was that in 2015, and like this year too, they were the last set of states to be coming out.
What have been coming out?
When we were already seeing results from polling unit, we were not seeing from the Southeast.
Okay.
When people finish in the polling unit, they send results in.
Okay.
We're not seeing them. So that was even making many of us suspect that it was already being cooked. And there are a lot of people who are saying too that there were some cooking. And by cooking, that's writing of figures. So in 2015, outrightly in some states, if we go state by state, where you see the total number of vote cast be equal to 300,000. In 2015, it was an outright 1 million for the PDP.
I don't get your logic.
So it means I'm looking at a state to use. Let's say in Abia, I'll look for
Enugu State.
Enugu State. Mm-hmm. I think altogether in Enugu State, maybe about 600,000 people voted this time around, if I'm not wrong. Okay. I will look for the data. Mm-hmm. But in 2015, 1 million votes alone came for the PDP from Enugu.
So you want to say that there was more rigging
in 2015
than now?
Than now. So now, because of the vote strict adherence to the system, so they cannot write it beyond, for instance, the number of people who were accredited.
Okay.
They cannot write it beyond the turnout expectation. Because, for instance, in the Southeast, there were photos of people playing football on election day. When, for instance, people in the North were queuing for 3 hours.
Maybe that is the factor of Nnamdi Kanu.
But Nnamdi Kanu eventually came out and told them to vote for Atiku.
But he had told them to sit at home before.
Yes, but eventually he told them to vote for Atiku.
Could that mean that the guy succeeded in settling him?
Yes, he said. Yes, he said that the
he was settled.
He said himself that the conditions have been agreed to. He said
that all his conditions have been
fulfilled. He wrote it on Twitter.
Okay.
That all the conditions have been
that he gave to them.
And then he should.
So it's because of the election that the guy resurfaced.
So when he resurfaced, now what happened was that when he came at first, the people that were cheering him up the most were the PDP.
Yes.
That's why you see Osita, Chidoka.
No, but when they now said sit down at home, they turned against him.
They turned against him. Because this is where, when you see Atiku talking about election, he calls a stronghold the Southeast and the South-South. That's what he considers a stronghold. Yeah. So how then can Nnamdi Kanu be saying they should sit at home?
No, but after they settled,
they now told them to come out.
And they like him, they stop
criticizing him again. So because then they have started saying it is Buhari that is choosing him, that is working for Buhari. So, but they don't know that the dog you train has the potency to come and bite you back.
But talking about rigging, one of the rigging incidents that was even recorded in Nigeria that was proven.
Yes, sir.
Was that of Southeast in Imo.
In Imo State?
Yeah, the Okorocha saga.
No, it was not proved. Because I
listened to the collector.
He said he announced it under duress.
Yes.
But he did not say it was rigged.
No, he said the result that he announced. He said if he wanted to cancel five polling ward or something.
Yes, sir.
So he said if he had cancelled those 5 wards, he said the result wouldn't have been that he announced.
Oh, okay.
That's what he said. He said, but the man, even the governor himself, came and said he must do it. And his guys are saying, the chief has spoken. If you want your life and your children's life, you better do what they have said. So if he cancelled those ones, because he said there were irregularities there, because people were made to do things that they didn't want to. He said that is why he had to come out and say, no, I announced this, but it was under duress.
Yeah, but in any case, the INEC has withheld the certificate of return.
Okay, but what I want to say is that if the APC, as the PDP is accusing and alleging, if APC is truly rigging this election, like they're saying, they would have used that opportunity to rig out, maybe even if they said, okay, they have conflict with Okorocha, so they don't want him to win, okay, or his son-in-law. But they would have rigged it in such a way. If it is rigging, the way they are accusing them,
yes, sir.
Imo, for example, for me, is a proof that APC was not even doing so much rigging.
Yes, sir.
Because if they had wanted to do rigging, they wouldn't have allowed them to take back the state that they were controlling.
Yes.
And even if that, by the time you calculate the 2 votes, I mean, the two parties, the APC and the one that was, they had much more vote than PDP.
Yes.
And the difference is even not too much. They would have made, if APC really wanted to vote, they would have switched it to their own hope something.
Yeah, Uzodima. And the funny thing with Imo State right now is that election, the victory is still going to be overturned in court. Not for the sake of rigging, but the declaration of winner did not meet the Electoral Act.
I don't get it.
You know, in the Nigerian Electoral Act, you are not just going to be declared. You should not just be declared because you have the highest number. You have to score 25% in about 2/3 of whatever, if it's state or local government. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but this particular guy who won in Imo State did not meet those criteria.
Yeah, but they will not.
So now it is just very easy for the court to annul his victory, and there will be another election.
You think so?
Yeah, because it's constitutional demand. That it's just like if Buhari had won, but did not meet.
But why is it that Nwosu is claiming that it was his own victory?
Yeah, he is claiming that it was rigged out, and then that even if they are claiming that he won, he still did not meet up with the constitutional requirement.
But Okorocha is an angry man. He's very mad at everybody.
Yeah, he's very mad.
It's like a wounded lion.
Yes, as of now. And he feels betrayed.
Because he wants to become president in 2023.
That's one. Number two, he is hated, for instance, in the Southeast, not just because of underperformance. Because although I know a lot of people will disagree with me, maybe, Okorocha is not the worst performing governor in the Southeast.
No, I think the reason why he's hated in Southeast is because he is regarded as a sold out.
Yes, a sellout.
As a sellout.
A betrayer.
As a betrayer. As if he's defending the interests of the North.
Hausas. So
yeah, I think they even call him Okorocha. Yeah.
So they call him Okorocha. So now, having to bear that, if you see, has sacrificed a lot. Because, in fact,
some people in the Southeast come out with a story that his father is Hausa, that it's only his mother that is.
So a lot of things came up against him from the moment he left ABGA, a faction of ABGA, to join APC. So that meant they saw him as a sellout, and so he has had to bear the cross from then. I mean, the cross of
but still, actions. He was still winning when...
He still, even his own election had to go through a rerun, the second term.
Okay.
Yeah, it had to go through a rerun. He didn't win at first ballot. So a lot of people from then saw him as a sellout, so they wanted to get him
But why was the guy talking so big? Because when Buhari was there, he was saying, anywhere I go in Imo State, everybody must, when they hear my name, everybody must stand up. And that I am the factor in Southeast. I am the factor in this election. I'm the factor in Imo. That Imo State is the best performing state in Nigeria. And that no state has done better than him. He talked big. He knows how to talk, that guy.
He's an orator. A very big orator. He's a Martin Luther wannabe. So he likes to give good oration. But however, I think
he said he has his own philosophy. He called it Ibinism or something.
Iberiberism?
Yes.
No, that's not his philosophy per se.
Oh, it's not?
No, he was saying people he was trying to say some people behave stupid. I think Iberiberism means stupid. So that's the philosophy of the stupid people.
Oh.
So his own philosophy is Oashirism.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his Oashirism. I think Oa means community. So when community shares.
Okay.
So for him, he believes the community should be able to share from their own commonwealth.
Okay.
So that's his own philosophy.
But he has a lot of staunch critics. There is a mad guy that is always being interviewed.
Yeah, he has a lot of staunch critics. And I also think,
from within his own state even.
Yeah, many people from a state don't like him. So what we're talking about are the factors that contributed to it. Number one is association with APC being seen as a sellout. Number two is second-term performance was nothing near stellar. It wasn't so convincing.
It's like Anambra is the best performing state.
Yes. Anambra and Ebonyi. The Ebonyi State governor.
Abia and
Oh, from the feelers that I have received, I cannot believe that a state like Abia would vote again for someone like Ikpeazu. I really can't believe it. Of course, I know his victory will be challenged.
But they don't have any alternative. The only alternative they have is APC, and they don't like APC.
No, there's another alternative from Abga. His name is called Alex Oti. So I'm sure Alex Oti will be challenging the victory in court. But to believe someone like Abia State Governor.
Some people say that Abia is very backward.
Oh, I have seen photos, and I've seen them. Some people even made record.
No, but he was distributing petrol before the election.
That was the last tactics. And one of my big oga told me that he built a flyover. But one flyover is nothing. It's nothing, because you need to go to Kanu and see flyovers.
Standard of living of people.
You need to go to Kanu and see flyovers.
Many in Kanu, yeah.
So one
and
flyover, good roads, good standard. One flyover is nothing. But you see potholes everywhere. And the way many of the people who are from that state, now this is not because of tribe, but just because they have a state, now demand governance from Lagos. You would expect that they do the same back home. But somehow, the governors from the southeast have been having leeway, and they've been enjoying themselves.
Truth be told, a lot of Igbo people, they are not happy with their governors. They are not happy even with their officials, with their, elected officials at all.
But they keep voting them in. So how? Ekwere Madu is going in for probably the fourth term.
A lot of Igbos believe that their officials are traitors.
But they keep voting them in. So my question is, for instance, PDP has always been the party in Southeast since 1999, apart from Anambra that got...
What about Abga?
That's in Anambra, that's just in Anambra. So if they've been the same party and you say they are not doing well, then change them. In the Southwest,
they changed many times.
They changed many times. In fact, Oyo State lost. Many people argue
because of the governor. It's not because of Buhari.
Not even because of his performance. Because of his mouth.
Yeah. He doesn't respect his people.
Yes. So just because of what he says, they voted 2 senators apart from him.
He's the only one they didn't vote.
They didn't vote for. And just because he's supporting the candidate of the APC for governorship, they could throw him and baby and water away. So that's how, for instance, in the West, they vote. In Ondo State, for instance,
they didn't see that candidate. To the credit of your people, they didn't see the candidate of APC as APC's candidate. They see the candidate of APC as somebody that is being imposed by Ajimobi.
Yes.
And they don't like him, and they don't want his stooge as well.
No, personally, that guy, if he contests, maybe, I don't know if this guy will be able to... Adelabu is not hated.
But because
of the influence
by
Ajimobi, they voted against him. They don't want a continuation of such legacy.
Yes.
So if you want to come on your own and show this what you can do. So on a personal note...
No, but it shows a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. They like him.
The one they shows, everybody likes him. Even the APC people voted for him.
Even APC people voted for him. So because I was in Ibadan, I was there with your cousin, Mr. Banjoko, and I was told then that APC is not going to win this state. I could not argue, but if it's federal, I was saying that no, Buhari will win this federal.
So if we are talking about rigging, why is it that APC, these are the places APC was supposed to rig?
They have 2 senators out of 3. They have 9 House of Representatives out of 12. And they still lost the governorship. And you're talking about rigging. And they still lost presidency altogether.
Yeah. So if they want to really rig, if APC were rigging, those are the places they would have rigged.
And they'll say you rig where
they have their governor there. If they really want to rig, that is the place they are supposed to rig too.
On those states, it's very funny because the 2 top guys are the governor and then a former governor called Mimiko. The other guy, Eta Ojagede, who was a stooge or
No, those are the two main guys. Yes. Mimiko
and Mimiko
both of them and APC.
No, Mimiko is not in APC.
They supported
APC.
And the governor and they still lost. So we are talking about APC rigging, and the two main people supported them. Yes. They would have gotten overwhelmingly, but
nobody will be able to detect anything.
Yes, because that's their state.
Stronghold. And they still lost. And you're talking about rigging. What are you talking about? So, but
you know, Atiku is going to be disgraced in that court. He doesn't have a case. Even if all the votes from the southeast are given to him, and from the southwest, from the southeast and from the south, he will still lose. So what is he going to court for?
Well, we are still on southwest and south. By the time we continue, you will now see exactly why there's no chance.
He doesn't have any chance.
No chance.
Even though, like I said in the beginning, I don't deny that there might be some rigging on the local level by both parties sliding.
Even vote buying, everything. Yeah. And I want to say something that may be very controversial, sir. Do you know, I believe, and I want to say this, and it's my belief, that vote buying on its own as a factor shows that votes count.
Yeah.
Because if the votes were not to count, then why should they be spending money on it?
They will just go and rewrite it, that's all.
So the fact that they are giving you money to say, take money and go and vote for our party, it means the politicians themselves know in the process more than ever before that it counts, at least to a larger extent, to even say they are spending their money on it.
When people talk about rigging, they are not even talking only about the buying.
Yeah, vote buying.
But what about the stamping?
Writing and all of those. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, that those ones exist, but we are talking about the transition also of the process to have rooted out rigging to a large extent.
Let's see the next slide there. South is here.
Oh, South. Beautiful. Yes. So this South, you see, it's half.
It's half, yes.
Of the number. Yes. And people will be expecting that, but this is PDP stronghold. Why not? In 2015, sir.
They didn't even have, the APC didn't even have 20%.
Sir, in 2015.
Talk less of 50.
Where you are seeing 2 million like this, it will not be 2 million for PDP.
It will be 5 million.
5-6 million. Then APC will now have about altogether 500,000 altogether. But what happened? Look at in 2015. In Rivers State had just a little above 200,000 accredited voters.
Okay.
But you know the vote that was brought in?
1 million.
1.2.
1.2. So 200,000 is the accredited. And the code that was counted was 1.2.
1.2. In fact,
that is sheep of
happened to the extent that
plus 1 million.
The only thing
and 200 is the official. That's what it's done.
The governorship election had to be cancelled. I mean, they had to do rerun in certain parts. I believe people who are from Rivers will remember. They had to cancel the governorship election and
but
they did rerun.
What I don't understand about this APC and South is that how come APC has 1.1 million votes and they don't have a governor? Everybody, they lost out in all the governorship election in the South. That's number one.
Yes.
But they also had some senators.
Yeah, they had some senators.
How many senators did the APC have?
I think
3.
One in Bayelsa, one in Edo. I think that's just about that too. Probably just 2. Or
they don't have any in Rivers?
No, the Rivers have not even done their own. They've not done
They don't have any in Akwa Ibom?
No. No senator from Akwa Ibom.
So how can they have this kind of large number of votes in South and they don't have senators, they don't have governors? So where did the votes go?
What happened in South?
That's what I don't understand.
What happened in South was that...
Where do they have this 1 million from?
Yes.
If they cannot see anybody they've elected.
What happened was a lot of people came into the party. And not just that, like Edo that you were talking about, Edo, the win margin of PDP was very low. In Akwa Ibom, the win margin was still high, but the margin was reduced because of someone like...
Edo is not South.
Edo is South.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the win margin was reduced because they could not write the numbers the way they used to write it. So you are having if I could check that now. You're having 400,000 to...
No, but the worst is Delta.
Yes, in Delta.
Delta and Rivers.
In Delta, the number 2 was reduced because a lot of heavyweights came into APC.
It was only one House of Representative girl they got in Delta. One lady, not senator, but House of Representative.
Wow.
Yes.
I didn't even look at that.
Yes, they got one.
But if we look at, we're talking about Rivers now. Rivers, APC had 150,000, PDP had 473,000. In 2015, if it was 2015, the kind of would have seen 1.2 million. So those were the numbers PDP was probably banking on. So if you go to Delta, in Delta you find APC having 221, PDP having almost 600,000. So you still see the margin is there. It shows you who they really voted for.
So it is because of margin that they have.
Yes. So the margins were reduced, even though they did not win. So they got more numbers than they did. So in Edo, it was APC had 267,000, PDP had 275,000. So it was just a little margin. So if we go to Cross River, the margin was high too. In Cross River, APC had 117.
But in Akwa Ibom, people like Akpabio, he's saying that he was rigged out.
Yes. And he's saying he's going to contest it in court, and which I think...
But first of all, it's very disgraceful for him to have been a governor and not be able to win.
Well...
Secondly, I mean, that is a shameful performance.
If, like you are saying, if APC were to rig, Akpabio should be the first beneficiary of such rigging.
Yes.
The first beneficiary. Why? Because he left his own party as minority leader.
Yeah.
If Akpabio was in PDP till today, to win his election back to PDP,
it would have been easy.
Very easy. So it would have been more of a point to prove
for APC
to rig someone like Akpabio in to say, yes, we have come. We are in the South.
We want to take it
back. But that was even almost impossible for them, or if that's if they tried. But much later, we're now seeing, especially after the governorship election, we're now seeing car accident happened, and there was a car accident scene where the ballot box and all of the ballot boxes were voted. The beneficiary was APC, but that was, of course, after the collation had taken place. So let's see what...
So you think PDP rigged in that place, in South?
I would not want to behave like them. I'm going to say that they won, according to what INEC declared. Anyone who really believes that they rigged should challenge it in court. But if you look at the way it is, then, of course, the suspicion of those who think they rigged might be valid. But again, because I know how politics is, that sometimes people accuse people because of how they would have done it.
But why is it that it is South where mainly people are dying in Nigeria election?
Now that calls for...
Especially Rivers.
That calls for sociology.
I think it's because of rigging. It's because they are trying to... Some people are trying to rig. Another part also is trying to rig. And they are getting thugs and bandits to fight each other for votes.
But the question again would be 2003, when they were really mainly PDP, without any of this Amici or
no APC.
Yeah, they still had violence, even in the Southeast.
Among themselves?
Yes.
Southeast or we are talking about Rivers?
Both Southeast and South. There was still violence, even in 2003. So it's been more like a culture or something. It's always repeating itself.
I think it's because there is a high level of militants that want to use politics to make money.
So what had happened was that these people,
or former militants,
these politicians
are hiring them,
had hired them for electioneering purpose. So after election ended, they still had arms, and then that is a place where you have resource. So they are able to do oil bunkering. They are able to kidnap people to still get money. So when there's election time again, they call them. So a lot of sect comes in. As of 2018, there was a guy called Don Wani. He was killed in in Rivers State after he had killed 30 people January 1st.
He himself killed them?
Yes, he and his boys. January 1st. 30 people, he killed them.
Then the police
and soldier got him. But this guy now was said to be...
But is that not what PDP is saying? That the Buhari brought a lot of military, and that it is the military that is killing people. So is it the military that is killing people because they want to rig? But if the military is killing people because they want to rig, why is it that they didn't rig to win then? Why is it that they didn't win? Because if they are if they brought military to really rig, they would have used military to rig and they would have won.
They will win.
Yeah.
It happened in Ekiti, where Fayose did that same stuff. Mm-hmm. But what had happened with Rivers State was that before the election, there were already intelligence that had been going out that politicians were importing soldiers' uniform. So
yeah, they found some people.
Yeah, they found some people like that, and even SARS arrested some and paraded them. Mm-hmm. So there are people who really want to rig, and they already have the boys. And of course, if you want to rig and you want to use people with gun, the best way sometimes to do that is to clothe them with police or soldier uniform. So that was one factor on its own. Then the second factor is, should soldiers really be there?
Of course, if there is violence to prevent violence, if they got what they call it,
intelligence.
Intelligence, yes.
So
the same thing happens in America. If they get intelligence, they are going to send National Guard or something. Yeah.
Those who are against the sending of soldiers are in this year's election, in 2015. In 2015, they are on record asking for soldiers to be brought in. The same people. People like Chief Edwin Clark.
No, but even Edwin Clark is saying nobody can contest the number of votes that came for Buhari.
No, that's Robert Clark.
Robert Clark,
yeah.
Okay.
Edwin Clark is like one of the fathers in Niger Delta.
Okay.
They were asking for soldiers in 2015. So why is it that they don't want soldiers this time around? Questions have to be asked. Then, soldiers in itself, people, observers, electoral observers, had marked places like Rivers State or your state in Southwest, Akwa Ibom, to be flashpoints where violence could possibly erupt. And you can see how it actually eventually happened. An House of Representative guy was shot dead in Oyo State. You can see exactly what is happening in Rivers State. So the question should be, are soldiers meant to be there or not? If they are meant to be there, what is their duty? Because, for instance, in the last week, there was a discussion flowing back between the governor and the military themselves. The military were saying it is the aides of the governor that was shooting at them. The governor is saying it is the military that was doing all of this. Of course, I believe that...
all these things we are talking about, election rigging and everything, it's lack of processes. We have not perfected our processes. That's why, did you notice that I've written a book about processes? I think this is the most important book for Nigeria. Because Nigerians don't like processes, we like results. And the title of the book is Process is as important as the result. But I want to change that title to Result is the new, process is the new result.
Oh, so you're going to change the
I think title. I'm going to change the title. Because that is shorter. Process is the new result. But this is the whole idea. Process is as important as the result. Because we don't value process. If you go to church, they will tell you, don't worry, don't worry how it will happen. God will do it. That means no need for process. God will do it, just result. Then if you go to the pastors, they will say, your breakthrough is coming by the end of this month. Amen. But every Sunday, they tell you, in the name of Jesus, raise your hand, or raise your offering. You don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. No process. Your breakthrough, amen. Somebody will become a millionaire before the end of this year. You didn't sign contract. You don't have skills. No process. So process is what is killing Nigeria. Everybody wants to have a big house, but nobody knows how to do finishing. So we have to import Congolese and Beninos and all those people to come and be doing our songs. We don't know how to do stuff. No processes. That's why I wrote this book. And this election process you are talking about is because of lack of processes, perfect process.